So we'll start with the first question. How can investing in things such as bonds, stocks, unit trusts, how do those help? So there are three things. Every entrepreneur makes money. There are three things where that money will go. So every kwacha you make, you're going to break it down in three parts and not equal. We call it like a 20-40-40 ratio. Just have it in your mind. After you've spent on your costs of doing business, money will flow into three areas. One, it'll flow into operations. You need to operate your business. That's something that you need to do, and that requires you to pay for inventory, technology. It requires you to pay for people if you've got people who work for your business. And by the way, people includes you too, because you are the lifeblood of your own business. And then the other place your money will flow also is into growth. If you want to stay the same, you're eventually going to get stomped out, because this is a world that's really emphasizing growth. So you're always going to have to invest in growth. Things like marketing, for example. If you think of marketing as an expense, you're going to really lose the essence of it. It's an investment in growth. That's what it is, because you're trying to acquire new customers. So, for example, where can you grow your business? What new product ventures can you invest in? And then the third place you put it in is yourself, because you're the owner who actually, you didn't go into business to start a charity. You went into business to make a profit. Okay, that's, I think, put up our hands here. How many of us went into business to make a profit? Yeah, thank you. I think it's the norm. So you actually want that money to come back to you at some point. So about 20% usually is the rough estimate. 20% comes back to you, 40% goes to growth, 40% goes to your operations. That's just rough numbers. Now, the reason I brought that up is because whenever you're investing money, you're looking at it. Whenever you're looking at investment, the reason why we save and invest money and put it away somewhere else is because, one, we need actually three reasons. One, we need to protect against uncertainty. There are times we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So that is called a cash reserve buffer. Every business needs to understand that at some point you need money, because your customers are not always going to be paying you when you think, and you're not always going to have customers at the exact time you think. So cash buffers are very important to build up. Somewhere around 3 to 6 months of your operational expenses are very important to build up. So where do you put that? Some people put that in treasuries. Some people put that in money markets, unit trusts. They put it in places which can at least grow against inflation and are quickly accessible, because they're looking for something that's liquid and it's not exactly direct cash. So it's something I can access within 3 days to 5 days, but it's got some sort of return on investment on it that can beat inflation. Because remember, first cost of investing is inflation. We always want to pick that up. Number two, where else are you putting money? Where else do you need to put money away? If you have people, you may need to pay them packages later. Let's say you've got gratuities. Let's say you've gotten to that place as a business now where you're thinking, I actually have to pay staff gratuities or end of service packages if they at the end of their contracts. If you wait until that person leaves, because people just leave anyhow. Okay, remember, someone can wake up tomorrow from anything from I quit because I found a new job to I'm having a child and I've decided to leave work. Anything can happen here. So you actually have to be able to pay that person whatever accrued benefits they have. So any accrued benefits you have, financial instruments are very useful for that. You have gratuity funds, unit trust called gratuity funds, where you can put money away for that specific thing. They invest in bonds, fixed income deposits, fixed deposits at banks that get high interest. Those are things you need to look at. So you're protecting yourself against that. And then also, as a business, you want to build a financial reserve. So there's your cash reserve, and then there's your financial reserve. So part of your profits, you want to try and accumulate a financial reserve. Why do you want to do this? Because if you build up some financial assets, you can start to develop a financial income stream as a business. That's one. But also, and I'll go back to Shadrach's earlier point on debt. One of the things you need to do in order to be able to acquire debt, two things. One is you need to be able to prove the cash flows. That's what he meant when he said imminent demand. You need to be able to prove you can generate cash flow in this venture. Two, collateral. Okay, put that down. CNC, cash flow and collateral. Now, collateral, often we think of, I have to bring my car, I have to bring my land, I have to bring all sorts of things, and the bank will give me a loan. Do you know that banks' preferred form of collateral is actually a government bond. It's actually the most preferred form of collateral for a bank. So if you ever need cash for ventures or anything and you need to utilize money, building that bond reserve actually gives you the ability to go to your bank and say, here's some government bonds that you can hold for a moment. And the reason why is banks can actually hold bonds on their balance sheet. They can hold bonds on their own balance sheet. So if anything goes wrong, they can pick it up. Banks have to sell your land. And they hate doing that. They have to sell your car because they make losses doing that, and it takes a long time. Absorbing your bonds, all they have to do is trade them in. And they tend to not even call in the loan because they're so secure knowing that these bonds are here. I know when they're going to mature. This person's actually going to have money. They've ring-fenced them. So we'll start with the first question. How can investing